Hey, second graders, it's Mrs. Cole here once again with Cece and Lily. And today we are going to be leading you in lesson number 3 of our Work of Water Mystery Science unit. So for today's activity, you're going to need something to write with and your Mystery Science Journal, Work of Water. We ripped this packet up yesterday when we made our boulders and our river, so it's not all together, unfortunately. It's not pretty anymore, but you should still have the last 3 pages kind of together. They've got images like this with land molds on it on the first 2 pages, and then the last one has like what looks kind of like an upside down cup. Go ahead and grab those 3 sheets, something to write with, and then we are going to see what Doug has in store for us. See you in just a bit. Okay, second graders, here's Doug with our new task and adventure for us to explore. So let's hear what Doug has to say.
Hi, it's Doug. I'm not sure what it's like where you live, but where I grew up, the land was very flat. There are no mountains. There's not even any hills. It's all flat cornfields, as far as your eyes can see. So whenever I saw a picture of some place that had mountains, I'd always think, wow, those look amazing. I'd love to see those close up. When I was 6 years old, I got my first chance. My mom and dad were able to get time away from work and took my family on a car trip through the western United States. I was so excited. We drove through states like Colorado, Utah, and Arizona. And on that car trip, for the first time ever, I did get to see mountains. And they were amazing. I got to see huge mountains. I got to see small mountains. I got to see hills. Whatever I saw, the land was always bumpy. It was hardly flat anywhere in the western United States. But while we were visiting these states, I was surprised to find out about a totally new kind of landform that I'd never seen. You see, mountains are places where the land goes up. But on our trip through the mountains, we saw places where the land goes down. And it's just as amazing to see. A place where the land goes down like that is called a canyon. You might have heard that word before. Here's a picture of a real canyon. In fact, this is the most famous canyon in the world. Do you know what it is? It's the Grand Canyon in Arizona. It's like a huge crack in the earth. Here's another picture of it. It's really wide, and it's nearly a mile deep. Now, there are a lot of other canyons. They don't always have to be so big. And some of my favorite examples are these smaller canyons found in Arizona and Utah. There's even ladders so that you can climb down and go into these small canyons. Let's see what it's like inside of one. Here are some people walking through the bottom of that canyon. I said canyons are like a big crack in the ground. Why do you think there are these cracks in the ground like this? What makes a canyon?
Okay, so stop and think for a second. Why do you think these cracks are in the ground like this? What makes a canyon? Take a look at that picture. See if you can find a clue that'll help you figure that out. Once you're ready, go ahead and hit play again, and you can find out what Doug has to say.
So why do you think there are cracks in the ground like this? What makes a canyon? You might have had a few different ideas. One thing you might have thought of is that there could have been an earthquake a long time ago, which made a crack in the ground, and it's just been there ever since. But when there's an earthquake, it does something more like this. Earthquakes can lift the ground up, or even cause the ground to go down a little. But earthquakes don't always make cracks in the ground. Sometimes they do. But here's the thing about those kinds of cracks. They're actually just a thin rip in the ground. They're never deep cracks, the kind you could fall into or walk around in. An earthquake crack also tends to be in a straight line like this. But if you look at canyons, they're not anything like that. They're usually deep, deep enough you could walk around in them. And they're not always straight lines either. Canyons are cracks that can curve around, like the shape of a river. That's actually a clue to why there are canyons. If you're around a canyon during or after a rainstorm, you have to be very careful. Because canyons are cracks in the ground, water might start to pool up at the bottom of the canyon like this. And if that water got too deep, that wouldn't be good. Look at this. This is after a rainstorm, and you can see water doesn't just sit at the bottom of the canyon. It's actually flowing out of the canyon. Could that be a clue about how canyons form? Look at the color of the water. Do you see that? That water is so muddy and brown. The water is the same color as the canyon walls. It's all full of sand and mud and even rocks. It's like the water is carrying stuff out of the canyon. Could it be that water is what makes a canyon? If that's true, it would mean something kind of unbelievable. It would mean water is acting like an excavator, carving sand and mud and rocks out of the ground. Is water really that powerful that it could cut into the earth like an excavator? Well, could you think of an experiment that would let you figure out whether water could really make a canyon?
Okay, so can you guys think of an experiment that would help let you figure out whether water could make a canyon? What is something you, me and you could do to figure out whether water could make a canyon? Take a second to share your ideas and your thoughts with somebody at your house, with a stuffy, jot it down on a piece of paper, whatever it is you need to do, and hit play when you're ready.
In today's activity, you're going to create a model of a place where the land goes up, a spot that's higher than all the land around it. Then you'll pour water on that land to act like rain and see what happens as it rains again and again. Now, when I say you're going to make a model, I mean you're going to make a small version of something. Like, here's an actual big piece of land. This is a flat hill called a plateau. You could try to experiment with this big piece of land by pouring water on it, but that would take a lot of water. By making a smaller version of this, though, now it's easy to experiment with it, so we can learn what happens. Scientists often create models in order to figure out how things work. What do you think will happen when you drip water on your land? For this activity, you need to be a really good observer. You're going to drip 4 small cups of water on the land, and watch carefully for any changes. All right, are you ready to see if water can change the land? I'll show you how to set things up, step by step. If you're in a class, find a partner. You'll share supplies with others at your table. If you're at home, you can work alone. When you're done with this step, click the arrow on the right. Cover your table with a tablecloth or newspaper to protect it from spilled water. Get your supplies. You'll get more later. If you're working in a classroom, you'll share some supplies with your partner and other supplies with your whole table. Put your paper plate on your plastic plate. You'll build your land on top of both. Fill 1 Dixie cup halfway with your land. Then, use another Dixie cup to squeeze it down like this. The better you squeeze it, the better it will keep its shape when you dump it out. Both you and your partner do this. You can make them at the same time.
Okay, so this is where we step in because you guys probably don't have all of those materials at home. We are going to go ahead and do the experiment for you. So here we have our land. We've got no Dixie cups, but we've just got small plastic cups. And they're going to go ahead and fill them up. It said halfway. So go ahead and you each fill up a cup. Got it? Ooh, careful. All right, and while they're doing that, I'm gonna talk to you about the plate setup. I've got my plastic plate and my paper plate, and I've got my 2 binder clips there holding it together so it's causing that slope, which is what we were told to do. Oh, and Cece's packing it down for us. Very good. Fill it up a little bit more, baby. Okay. There you go. It's okay. Keep going. I decided to skip the lay down plastic or a tablecloth step. Don't skip this if you decide to do it. This corn meal makes a big mess. Is it in there? Okay, you gotta push down.
I'm trying to clean it up right now.
Yeah, push down real hard. Very good.
But how do I put more?
That's just it. That's all we're doing right now. Okay, let me see if I can get some of the weight of this to help us pack it down a little bit. Okay, and then let's see if this works. Ours looks a little bit different from theirs. This could be a complete fail. Okay, 1, 2, 3. No, it spilled everywhere. Oh no. Okay, hang tight. Mrs. Cole's gonna fix this. Okay, so Mrs. Cole fixed it. Apparently you have to add a little bit of water to it to make it sticky like sand. So if you ever wanted to make some kinetic sand-like material for you to play with, get some cornmeal and just add some water until it's sticky enough. That's what we ended up doing here. So they're gonna fill them up halfway, and then we'll put them on our plate, and we'll continue with the experiment. All right, so we have it all packed into the cup. You just put it on there carefully, and you do a quick little pat. Nice and easy. Come on, you. There we go.
Oh,
And
it's
then you pull them out. Ta-da! All right, so we've got 2 of our mounds ready. Let's listen to the directions and figure out what else we need to do.
Turn each cup over near the edge of the plate. Tap on the bottom and lift the cup up. Do it to both cups. And now you have 2 little hills. If you don't like your first try, you can dump it back in the bowl and try again. But don't worry about making a perfect hill. Real hills have plenty of cracks and lumps and bumps. Keep making hills until you have 4 total. Then carefully push all of them near the edge of the plate like that. Have one person hold the plastic plate still and push the paper plate up like this. Have the other person clip the plates together. This will make it so that your water doesn't spill off the plate when you add water. And it'll also give a nice slope so that the water can flow from high to low, just like on real land. It should look like this when you're done. Put 1 spoonful of land into the spaces between the hills. No more than 1 spoonful. Then, smooth it with a spoon. When you're done, you'll have 1 big clump of land.
Okay, so we have our 4 mounds here. We put the cornmeal in the middle. Now let's go ahead and hit play and see what we're supposed to do next.
Get 2 plastic cups, a drip stick, and 2 sets of handouts. 1 set per person.
Okay, so this is where you're going to need your pages from your Mystery Science Journal. So you have your pages out, okay? And I, along with Lily and Cece, we're gonna do the experiment. You're the one taking the notes, okay? So if at any point you need to rewind or you need to pause so that you can see better, please feel free to do that. Okay, here we go. Into the experiment.
Turn over the big cups and put the dripstick on them like this. Then, push the land under the arrow on the drip cup so that when you add water, the water will fall on your land.
Okay, got it all set up. Here we go.
Remember, what you just made is a model of real land. Talk with your partner about what you think will happen when you drip water on it. Will the water make a lake? A river? A waterfall? Something else?
So go ahead and turn and talk to somebody at your house. If nobody's there, feel free to jot down some notes onto a piece of paper or to just say it out loud to the recording. And let's actually hear some ideas from Cece and Lily. So Cece and Lily, they've done this, by the way. Cece and Lily, without spoiling anything, what do you think is going to happen?
Maybe you make like a little hole on the inside.
What do you think, Cece?
Or maybe it will come out and break.
Oh, okay. There are some predictions. We have some hypotheses. Let's go ahead and find out what we're supposed to do next.
Time to try the experiment. Fill the drip cup and watch to see what the water does. This is a chance to practice your observation skills. Look for small changes in the land. If not all the water drips out of the cup, that's okay. Go to the next step when everyone's water stops dripping.
Okay, so this is the part that takes a little long, but we've got our drip cup here and we're gonna fill it up, and this is where you do your observations. So I'm gonna zoom into our land here, and let's go ahead and have Cece fill it up first. So we'll do this a total of 4 times. So Cece's gonna go first, or then Lily, and then they'll do it 2 more times after that each, or 1 more time after. Fill it up. Good pouring. Go, 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 fill, 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 go, 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 go. Go, 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 fill, 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 fill. Okay, stop. Perfect. Okay, now take a look. What is it doing? What is it doing? Just watch. That's so quiet. I don't know if you can tell. Let me try to move you so you can see better. What do you guys see happening? Cece, Lily,
Pushing down.
it's doing what?
It's kind of making a little hole.
Oh, it's making a little hole. What do you see, Lily?
It's making a little hole, and also it's making it. It looks like it's pushing the stuff down.
Yeah, the cornmeal.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me it kind of looks like a sand trap, like quicksand, because it's going, but it's not really like it's going through. It's so bizarre. Okay. Well, we are going to go ahead and let this keep doing its thing. We're gonna come back once it's all done dripping through this first one so that you can go ahead and take a look at what has happened. Okay, so it's been some time. It's almost empty. The drip has slowed down, but take a look at the plate. What did you guys notice, Cece and Lily?
So some sand is coming down and water is coming out.
Anything else, Lily?
It looks like the water is going through and then it's soaking inside, and then it goes to the bottom and comes out.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that, especially with all the water that's pooling up there. Good thing we have that extra plate. Okay, I'm gonna leave this up. Let's hear what Doug has to say about our further directions.
Draw what the water did to your land in the first box on your handout.
Okay, so you guys saw it. We're pretty much at the end of this one. What did it do to the land? Well, it's still all together. There's a little bit of a hole, and we've got some flooding going on. So go ahead and draw your picture, and we'll set up the next experiment.
Let's see what more water does. Fill the cup again and watch what the water does to your land. Then draw what happened in the second box on your handout.
Okay, so now we're ready to do it again. Lily's going to pour this time. Lily, go ahead and pour the water in. And we are going to take a look at what happens after a second cup has had time to drip on it. So we'll just watch it for a little bit and then we'll pause again so that you guys don't have to sit here and wait the entire time. And then we'll show you what happened at the end. So right now, Stacey, watch your head. You're blocking the camera, okay? Right now, what do you guys see happening? What do you guys see, Stacey and Lily?
So the sand is getting even more wet and it's starting to crack.
Uh-huh.
And also even more water is coming out and some sand is coming over there.
Mm-hmm. What do you see, Lily?
There's two things that I noticed. One is about this and one is about this.
Okay.
So this one, like Cece said, the sand is getting more wet and also is cracking. And also there's more water on this side.
Okay. Okay.
And also about this, every time when me and Cece pour it in, it goes down a little.
Mm-hmm. That's because the water's falling out
Mm-hmm.
or dripping out. All right. So I'll let you get.
The ruler goes down a little. Like,
Oh, yeah, because it's heavy.
of the weight.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's your little view of what's happening so far. I'm going to pause the video and then we can take a look once it's all done at the end result. Okay, so we've reached the end of this cup and this is kind of what's happened. Cece and Lily, will one of you guys tell us kind of what you see? Maybe Lily should go first.
Mm-hmm.
What did you see? What's happening?
There's a lot more water
Mm-hmm.
on the plates now.
Yeah, there's a lot more water on the plate. Do we see anything happening with the land, Cece?
It's starting to get wet and it's starting to break even more.
Okay.
And the sand's getting super wet.
Yeah, the sand's getting super wet. There's more water out and it's breaking more. Okay. Doug, tell us, what do we do next? Oh, actually, wait. Before he does that, don't forget to draw this. So pause the video if you need to. Here's your example of what happened. And we're going to find out what Doug wants us to do next.
Time for another cup of water. Fill the cup again and watch what the water does to your land. And then draw what happened in the third box, which is on the second page of your handout.
Okay, so Cece's going to pour the water in this time. Going to do it one more time. This time you guys are filling in the third box on your second page there, okay? So here it goes. It's dripping. Such a satisfying sound. Blip, 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 blip. Cece, what do you see happening?
So even more water is coming out onto the plate. It's starting to crack even more and more sand is getting wet. And the hole is starting to drip out from right here.
From where? Where's right here? Oh, the down here. Okay.
And the water is going slow, but even though it's going slow, since we put so much cups of water, so much water is coming out.
Very good. Okay, Lily, what do you see? What do you observe?
One thing I noticed is that the water is getting higher and it's coming up to right here on the side. Also, I see that this one is cracking right here. And I also see that some of the sand over here is already wet.
Yeah, it was dry before and now it's kind of building up its own little ocean or little lake. Okay, we'll check back in with you guys once this one's done. Breaking news. Dun, dun, dun. Look at what happened. Look at, we're not even done. Ah, what happened?
It got too wet.
It got too wet. What happened?
It broke.
It broke. If there was a house there, it'd be gone. Oh my goodness. Okay, we still have some more water to go on this cup. I'm gonna pause it and come back. Okay, check-in time. Here's what's happened after the third cup. Lily, what do you see?
It broke one of the little circle pieces right there.
It broke. Okay, what else happened? Cece, what do you see happening? Or that has happened, excuse me.
So one broke and another one's starting to crack. And much more water is coming. And it's getting even deeper.
Yeah. So if you take a look, I don't know if you guys can tell, but the land that has broken is very mushy. It's very full of water. So it doesn't look like this stuff here. And it's definitely not just straight up water. It kind of looks like a beach, like sand. You referenced to lesson 2, which you guys just did yesterday. Look at that. We are making a beach at our little lake ocean thing that we've got going. Okay, let's hear what Doug wants us to do one more time. Cece, get your hands out of it, please.
For one last cup of water, fill the cup and watch what the water does to your land. Draw what happened in the last box on your handout.
All right, so we are on the last box of your handout, which means that we have one more cup that we're gonna do. So go ahead, Lily, fill it up with as much of that water as you can. We'll see what happens. Keep going, keep going. The water is almost out of it. Keep going, go. It's almost empty. Okay, that's fine. All right, here it goes. It's filled to the tippy top, to the very brim. Every last drop is in there.
Oh
Okay.
God.
What do you guys see happening? Careful, careful, careful.
So even more is going down. And it's getting even more smushier. And this one's starting to break even more. And the water is getting even deeper.
Yes. What do you see happening, Lily?
I see that there's water coming out on this side right here because it's bent down a little and the water's coming out this way.
Let's bring our focus back to the land. What's happening? What about that spot that the water has been dripping in?
It's not dripping that much anymore.
No. This spot right here. Has that changed at all, Lily? Watch your hair, you guys. Has that spot changed at all?
It looks like it's gone up a little more. Because last time I thought it was right here and now it's up here.
Yeah, maybe it's shifted. All right, let me give you guys a close up and then we're gonna do another one of our magic tricks where we pause it and then we show you what happens at the end. So there we are. And we will come back once it is all done. Stay tuned. All right, so we are back and it is on the last few drippy drips. What do you guys see here? Take a moment to pause if you need to so you can sketch this out. But Lily and Cece, what do you guys see?
So
go ahead.
So I see that this water is getting even deeper. This clip is getting wet and one of our mountains are falling down.
Yeah.
And there's a earthquake crack and more water is coming onto this plate.
Hey, Lily, do you see a canyon? Do you see a canyon?
Yes, I do.
Where do you see a canyon at?
There's like a very small crack right here that goes over here.
Look at that. I wish that this was something that I could get closer so you guys could see it. But there's a very small crack along here. It's not completely carved out yet, but it's getting there. So the crack that Lily's seeing is the path that the water's taking to come out. Because this whole time the water's been coming out. Cece pointed that out. and it's all piled up right here. So that's the path the water took. And that's why you see that crack starting to form right there, because it's causing the split. Even though the canyon's not quite there, it is kind of like in a cave-like state where the water's still coming out. It's just the top's not open yet. So there you go. There's your last experiment. Go ahead and draw that into your last box. And let's see what Doug has in store for us next. All right, go Doug.
If you're in a class, turn to the others working at your table. Tell them what the water did to your land. Listen as they tell you what the water did to their land.
So you guys have been hearing Cece and Lily talk about what's been going on. So we're just going to skip over this part.
Do the last question on your handout.
Okay, so your last question says, look back at all your drawings. How did the water change your land? So overall, from the very beginning, when we had all 4 mounds with the land on top, all of it was nice and together and solid, versus now where we have one of our landforms completely turned into a beach and we've got water everywhere. How has it changed?
If you're working in a class, look at other students' land. Discuss. Do you see anything that looks like these pictures?
Okay, so take a moment to look at it, and we're actually going to have Cece and Lily look at it too. Do any of those landforms there that you're seeing here on the screen, do any of these look like the one that we made here?
This one.
The
one that's shooting out.
the top one on the left. That one looks the exact same thing because it's going down, just like.
And also it has a crack and some sand's coming out.
Yeah, so the girls are picking this one over here because of the crack, and they've got the sand coming out at the bottom, which looks a lot like what we've got going on here. Excellent, very good. And when you guys do this at home, if you decide to try this yourselves, maybe you'll have a different landform that it looks like too. All right, let's hear our last little bit of wisdom from Doug.
Clean up.
Clean up.
Scrape the land.
Do that, Doug, don't worry. Okay, last bit of wisdom. Here we go.
So you did an experiment to find out what happens to land when it rains over and over. This is a sped up video showing what I got when I tried this experiment. Just like you did, I poured the water over and over. And as you can see, when I did this, I actually saw a little canyon form. Maybe you got a canyon too, but you might have gotten to see something different. Like, watch this. Notice how this time when I did it, all the land kind of spilled out. Well, this happens in real life after heavy rains, as you can see here in these mountains. Or maybe when you did this experiment, you got something like this. You notice how the edges of the land start to crumble and fall and left behind a cliff? Well, that's also something that happens sometimes after heavy rains, as you can see here. Water really is as powerful as an excavator. Water is what digs out canyons. It even dug out the Grand Canyon. In fact, the Grand Canyon, along with a lot of other canyons, has a river at the bottom of it, which keeps carrying dirt and rocks away. As time passes, water will make the Grand Canyon even deeper and wider than it is now. In all of these examples, you could see how the water can pick up sand and dirt and rocks and carry them. That means the land moves from one place to another. The power of water to move land, that's what in science we call erosion. Erosion is so powerful that it can change the shape of the land around us, creating new landforms, like canyons, or these things you might have seen. We call them fans. And these things, we call these landslides. You don't even have to live near a canyon to find your own example of erosion. Check this out. My friend Pat spotted these canyons forming near her house. Now, without anything to compare it to, you might think these are pretty big canyons. But look now as we zoom out. You can see the person next to it, and now you see these are just tiny canyons about the size of a person. You'll be surprised what you find if you look around, especially after it rains. Look for gutters, or look at ditches on the sides of roads, or even any streams or creeks that you have nearby you. You can find small versions of canyons. And if it's not raining, that's no problem. Use a bucket of water or a hose and spray it on some dirt or sand. See what tiny versions of canyons and other erosion landforms that you can find near you. Have fun and stay curious.
All right, second graders. So that is the end of our activity. I'm actually going to stop our screen share here. Okay, so we're all done with, okay, so now you guys have had the experiments done and you got to see what happened and you learned more about what water can do to Earth if it has enough time to do those things. This is Mrs. Cole signing off. I will see you guys next week for some St. Patrick's Day fun. Until then, keep on exploring, keep on learning, and I will see you guys around. Bye, second graders. Excellent job today.